They're already. Oh, like she wants some. She's a president of Richmond organization. I don't know.
They should be able to hear you. Yeah.
I mean, she said she's.
And it should be mic on here somewhere. Maybe on this one. So, here's the video of the talk. And then I just want you to pay the viewing of the board. Everything is on, right? And who are you seeing?
People.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I see the presentation on here. I mean, yeah, it's supposed
It's
to.
not yet.
Not yet.
So. There you go. Now no one should be able to talk.
Except for me.
Yes, except you.
Okay. How do you get it to start?
The PowerPoint?
I forget, I just clicked on your slide.
Okay.
You know, when I first saw it, I just thought it said, table that fall.
It said what? Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, folks. Well, it's a happy Monday, and it's good to see so many of us here. I want to thank Debbie for agreeing to be our next speaker. 2 years ago, about we started this series titled "The Life of a Mathematician," and the idea in the ongoing series is really to be able to, in a nice way, humanize our faculty members. Right? Because our students perhaps look at them and look at us and think, are they too human? Do they also get breakfast, lunch, and all of that stuff? So we feel that the formative experiences of faculty members provide several entry points for students and colleagues as a way of potential collaborations or what have you. So we're, of course, today fortunate to be doing Life of a Statistician, right? The first of its kind. We've had 3 lives of mathematicians, and today we're delighted to have Debbie speak. So it's yours.
Okay, thank you. First of all, let's say I'm not retired, okay? That thought came up. It's like, the second of all, I'd like to thank Julius for this opportunity. I really actually started working on this last Thursday because I was like, what am I going to say when I talk about? And I realized what he's given me was an opportunity to kind of review what I've done since I've been here, and also to think about what I might like to do before I do retire. And the other thing is this really does give me an opportunity to thank the people who have been my supporters and collaborators over the years. This really is not much. I've done a lot, I think, with me. I did all that. But it was like most of it is with other people. So collaborations contribute, people who contributed to my success. Okay, so I'm going to start at the beginning, kind of, sort of. Tell a little bit about me and how I became a statistician. So I've got some stories. Sometimes I use these in class. So some of you who've had me in class, you might have heard these before. For most of you, I don't recognize a lot of you. If you had me in class, not these stories you don't know about me. I'm not going to embarrass anybody. I might embarrass myself a little bit, but not anybody in my past. I'm going to talk mostly about my statistical life here on campus, tell students a little bit more about what it means to be an academic mathematician or statistician in my case, what our lives might be like, which would be very, very different from being a statistician working for a government agency or a pharmaceutical company. So I like this better, lots more flexibility. And then I'll talk a little bit about what maybe might come next, okay? All right, so we're starting with the Fox family tree. That's my last name was Fox, F-O-X. And that was George. I have to say, it was quite a year or 2 years after George and Barbara Bush were out of the White House. I went, oh yeah, mom and dad. Anyway, I have 3 siblings, and I don't have anybody who was in my infographics STEM. So that's probably a good thing because they'd be looking at it going, and that's crap. I went to a online site, how to make a family tree, and I took a little snippet from it and created this. And no, it's not like I don't like my brother. Okay, somehow he just got, and I couldn't figure out how to bring that up. The other thing that I couldn't quite figure out how to put in to a family tree is I have a twin sister. Okay, and there's the 2 of us up there. First birthday. Anybody want to guess which one's me that doesn't already know? Is it the guy who baby that is right into the cupcake? Or is it the one going, holy crap? Okay, I'm the one eating the cupcake. All right? And here's us. I don't know when this was taken. It must have been just graduated from grade school. I think so. So Linda, Larry, and me, my sister, we wear my glasses. She doesn't wear glasses. And I think you can see some resemblance there. I think we do share a lot of genetics, maybe more than regular siblings. She's taller, we got a lot of the same facial features, but I think the thing that's most alike is our voice. One time I was visiting my sister, and they had those little cubicles, and she and I were talking back and forth, and one of her coworkers had to come and check because he thought my sister was talking to herself. Yeah. Okay. So, but recently found out that maybe there's more genetic similarity than might appear. I don't know if any of you've done Ancestry.com or 23andMe. I got one of those announcements from Ancestry saying they found my daughter, as my niece. Yep, we thought that she might. I thought that was fun. Really, I had a child I didn't know about. Anyway, it's my twin sister's daughter. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Wait. Sorry. Okay. Dad worked for Ford's. I grew up in Dearborn, Michigan, headquarters for Ford. And if you lived there and your dad or mom worked for Ford, you said you worked for Ford's. Got to put the S up. Mom was a librarian. I think you can figure out which one of the 2 parents I took after more. But my dad did not go to college. He was an engineer at Ford, and I think that's accomplished him a lot. He did trucks, something to do with trucks. Michael, do you remember?
He's co-inventor of the accelerator. Doesn't let the accelerator race away from.
Smart guy. Yes. And that's my husband, by the way. And I'm going to tell you more about him in a little bit. Okay, what else did I want to make sure I wanted to tell you everything I wanted to tell you? Okay, I talked about that. All right. So again, my infographics STEM students would be horrified because the timeline doesn't work out. But okay, so I graduated Debra High School, 1975, and went to University of Michigan. Why did I go to University of Michigan? Because my mom was there, and I was the last one of those 4 kids. So I'm like, oh, okay. I have to say, probably was not big university. Probably not the best choice for me. There were a lot of smaller schools. I probably would have been a lot more comfortable. And I would have to say it all worked out really well because I met my husband there, first day of classes, freshman year, and we'll have our 42nd anniversary this May. So it worked out okay. Say a little bit about what it was like being a student, a female student back in the 70s and in the 80s. I think that most of the high school teachers thought that girls were going to college to get an MRS degree. It was not, I did not get any real support. I didn't know, what to make of me. I went to do what I was good at, math. Okay, but I'm like, what am I going to do with it? I don't know. But I liked it. I kept taking it the whole time I was there. But I'm not really getting any acknowledgement, good job, people can wear that kind of stuff. So I, everyone was a zoology. I was going to be a dentist. Because I thought, yeah, that sounds like a good career. I could do that. And then I watched a root canal being done and I passed out. But okay, yeah, we're not going to be a dentist. I was also considering computer science. I think you probably knew this. I was going to be a computer science major. I really loved programming. To me, programming coding is just another problem solving. You can't, something doesn't have a closed form of solution. You can find a nice approximation, et cetera, et cetera. I really liked it, enjoyed it. And then I had one more class, computer architecture. I was like, nah. So, I didn't do that. Anyway, so I don't have a computer science. Anyway, graduated, and like I said, no, I try to be a good advisor for my students and then the students that I got in my class that are doing a good job, I try to do a good job, keep it up. Got none of that, really, no. So got married and I did daughter was born. Oh, I forgot to mention, first job. Took a little while, didn't get it right away. I was an actuarial assistant for a pension actuary firm in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Want to guess what my salary was? Anybody? $8,000. Yeah, woo. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And it was problem solving. You had people who had a problem, the pensions, they want to figure out what the contributions would be and how much each of the recipients would get, so on. Problem solving, love it. Anyway, things didn't work out. We didn't stay. We moved down to Texas. And again, this was my husband. I never ever had thought about going to grad school. No, I never thought I was smart enough. And what would I do with it? He said, you got to go to grad school. So I am here today because of him. I don't say that. I wouldn't be here talking in front of you about this. Went to grad school at UTS. I'll say a little bit more about that in a minute. Okay. I had a job while I was there, working at the University of Texas Health Science Center. And I worked as a data analyst, whatever. And there was one of the people I did a project for. He was having trouble understanding correlation coefficient, when it would be significant or not. So I worked up a little table of all these numbers and stuff and said, give it to him. And you know what he said to me? You did all that figuring yourself? Yeah, I was like, yeah, really. I didn't know what to think. It's like, okay, yeah, really, I did. Anyway, mathematics, master's, concentration in statistics. While I was there, child number 2, David, born. He was an economics major here, and daughter Sarah was a chemistry major here. And in fact, Leanna Carlo is responsible for that. She got my daughter with her husband, right? Yeah, she's alphabetical. She's second next to you for next to each other. All the girls are really super jealous because he's super handsome. Yeah. Anyway, that all worked out. And then I went to grad school. We were back to the University of Michigan. We knew we wanted to go back to Michigan. We applied for the schools. And I don't know, women, students, if you have ever felt what's called the imposter syndrome, Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah. That somehow somebody's gonna meet you at the door and say, you don't belong here. I had that, I'd never had it before. I didn't have a lot of confidence, but I thought when I was walking in the door, they would say, sorry, you made a mistake, you don't belong here. It didn't happen, but I just wanted you to kind of know a little bit more about me, but if you've ever felt that, okay, a lot of us have, okay? It's, I know, I hope someday that sort of thing goes away, that we can all be really confident in our abilities and anyway, 93 graduated, started here at fall of 94, was Mary Washington College at the time. Okay, so what did I do in between? I'm not the kind of person who just sit at home. I got a job at a department store. And you remember, that students won't remember this probably, especially if you're not from this area, Woodward and Lothrop, Woody's department store. Yeah, I was in the linen department. Yep. And I got on as Christmas help, and they kept saying, and if you do a really good job, they'll ask you to stay. I got asked to stay. Okay. And it wasn't too long before the other people worked there figured out, or I don't know how this got out. You got a PhD? What are you doing here? They're like, well, I should have a job. So anyway, so then I started came here. And let's see. Okay, now I'm going to tell you how I ended up in statistics. The flyer said, in fall '94, when I came here, I talked about why I chose statistics. I don't remember what I said. That was too long ago. I'm sorry. But I do have to tell you about the bait and switch at UTSA. I said, I'd like to come and get a master's in mathematics. I said, sure, come on in. I looked at my GREs, my grades, and said, yeah. And then first day of classes comes around, oh, I'm so sorry. There's not enough students in that class. It's not going to make, but wouldn't you like to take the statistics class? Lots of students in the statistics class. My very first statistics class was maximum likelihood estimation. Melody, you know what that is, something. Yep, and that was like that for grad school. And it had a lot of stuff I liked. You know, it had a lot of calculus because you had to maximize something, so you're going to take derivatives. And if you can't find the derivative, both from solution, well, approximated numerical methods, and more stuff I really like. A lot of times when I'm teaching my classes, I tell the students I did not know the Greek alphabet, and every time I learned a new one, I put a little phonetic U, MEW, sigma. Spell that out. It was like, and I write out the little symbol. I don't know the Greek alphabet now. Over the years, I get almost comfortable. So mix of applications, theory and computations, everything that I really like, except for the theory part of the page, you have to put up with it. If you're in an applied field, you put up with the theory, but still I had to get my PhD. I had to do some theory, so I have some appreciation for it, but I really like to get my hands dirty with the data. I really enjoy providing, so this is more about me now than what it was back then. I really enjoy helping people with their data. A lot of times people collect data and they go, okay, this is what I want to know, how do I do that? I can help you with that. When I came here, I believe I was the only PhD statistician at college in the faculty. There was somebody that I thought might have a BS3 in statistics and administration, but I don't think they had a PhD. So people came to me, they found out there's a statistician there, they got some questions, maybe she can help me with that. My colleagues who've gone through promotion and tenure might appreciate this. I was not nervous at all about getting promotion and tenure. I don't know if you were, but I was not, because I had done a statistical favor analysis for every single one of the people who were on that committee. Oh yeah. Yeah, I was like going, I got nothing to worry about. I put together a good folder, a file, right? I didn't pump off or anything like that, but it's just like, they all know me, they all know what I can do. I'm good. Lots of job opportunities in statistics, from being academics to industrial careers, government careers, pharmaceutical companies. I think this is the best place for the kinds of things that I like to do. But I do have to say that I usually people come to visit. We lived up in Alexandria. People would come to visit. They want to go to DC, right? So when we take our little tour around it, I would go, oh, I applied there. Your little statistics, and they didn't want. And but I named all of them. They know they didn't want me. They said I was too academic. Okay. So any students planning to go to grad school, let me give you some a little bit of advice. Make sure you do a little bit of both, of the stuff for career and the stuff for academics. I only did teaching when I was in grad school. University of Michigan had a consulting center. Nobody suggested to me that, why don't you spend, you've done this for a couple of years, why don't you go work at the consulting center for a couple of years? So anyway, try to figure out what you want to do, maybe try out the different things. Don't go so near one path that really, they worked out good for me. I think this is better for me anyway, but maybe I could have had a good life. I don't know. I'd probably be retired right now with a really big check, maybe. I don't know. But it made a lot more money, right? We got to decide what's important for you. Okay. So this is mostly for the students because I think everybody, faculty members know your faculty members aren't just teaching. They're expected on responsibilities. They're expected to do professional activity and service. These can take a lot of different forms. I did it 50% teaching, 25 service and special activity, but it doesn't have to be this way. In fact, there was a while that we could specify what percentages we wanted to do, but I think for me, it's probably more teaching than professional activity service. But I actually was going through a list of, I did a lot more than I thought I had. Okay, it's just maybe not the same kind of professional activity you heard about if you went to Dr. K's talk or if you went to Dr. Lehman's talk. I don't publish research articles. It's not what I'm into. Okay, but anyway, that was, I just wanted you to know that. And I'm just going to mostly just talk about the statistics stuff related to this, not the other regular committee stuff that all the faculty have to do, right? Okay, all right. So service. One of the very first things I did was to speak to Greenlaw, who's retired from economics, but I think I previewed whatever his statistics chapter, maybe offer some advice. I also created the normal table that goes in the back of the book because I generated that because I had taught numerical analysis and I knew how to teach. That was really cool. Anybody taken info statistics, another statistics class where you had to create a normal table, use a normal table? I can make my own. It's like I just know how to do. Anyway, then I do a lot of we have over the years done a lot of graphs for colleagues' reports or presentations. People come and say, this is what I want to show. And they might do hand draw a graph like this. And so I can make that. And I'd figure out a way and they would add that to the report, make it more professional. Do a lot of data analysis support for colleagues and students. What I really do is like doing stuff for the students. It seems like every year I got 1 or 2 students in another discipline need some help with their statistics for their honors thesis or whatever. Or capstone course I've done, I think the last 2 years I've done something for the GIS capstone, whatever their certification period, program. Done quite a bit of those, and that's what I really like. And I like helping my colleagues too. I think that, kind of letting students see the inside of what a statistical analysis looks like and how you can, what it helps to say about your project. How do you wonder about this one, are you? I was early on here. This gentleman from the outside came to me and he said he wanted to know how you could predict the basketball betting line. Okay, we had all this data, and but so I did a regression analysis for him, and got a you know what the betting line is, right? Does anybody not know what it is? Your team has to win by a certain amount when you bet on that, which team you want to win, right? Okay, so it was that difference between them. And so I did a model for him and I didn't take any money. I just said, all you gotta do is let me talk about this in one of my classes. He said, sure. Gave me a paper with everything blacked out, the website, whatever. The only thing on it was the data. I had no idea where it came from. And I had the R squared was like 0.999999. Okay, really good fitting. So if you're wondering what this model might be used for, I think you could really do a good job of figuring out when the fighting line was off. And maybe use that to your advantage. I'm just kind of guessing. He said to me, one time too many. There's nothing illegal about this. And I'm like, so the next season was coming around, I don't know whichever one, but he was kind of making noises like he might like me to do that for him. And I said, no, I think this is good. I got what I needed from this. Okay. 2002, I had to look this up. Okay. I think that most of us older people remember the sniper, right? And there's always, for mathematicians too, not just statistics people, there's always that phone call or email request to want to know what's the probability of you. And you're going, like, when somebody wins the lottery twice, they want to know what's the probability of that. And I'm like going, I don't care, you know. And rather than try to figure it out, I'd run a simulation. I think that would just be faster and much better use of my time to try to back in the day, try to guess here. When you think about it, there's so many. Once you win the lottery once, are you going to play again? I mean, they're taking a lot of, you know. Anyway, there's too many variables and things that I don't even really know anything about. I got a phone call from a reporter at Freelance Star, wanted to interview me about what's the probability of being shot by the sniper. Okay. Well, Susan might not remember this, but one of the things happened here in Fredericksburg at Michael's. There was lots of them up in the DC area where I lived. Okay. And then there was, I think, at least one up in Maryland, Bethesda. Okay, anyway, it was near where we went to church. Okay, it was like, you know, I'm doomed. Okay. And the students, some of the people were shot while they were putting gas in their car. So people did not stand and put gas in their car. It didn't matter where you live, people stopped doing that. And I started getting chills again just thinking about this. I'd forgotten how awful it was back then. It was like not nearly as bad as COVID, okay, but it was bad because you were just wondering, you know, was they gonna shoot again? You know, where would they shoot? You know, should I stay away from these places? So I very nicely convinced her with a stupid question. I didn't say stupid question, but that's what I was thinking. That's what I wanted to say. Because as I explained to her, there was just too many different variables. We don't know if they're done. But it was even two people. We didn't know that at the time. We didn't know where they might shoot again. You know, there's just too many things you can't put probability on. I know I couldn't put a simulation on that one. I mean, maybe you could, but at any rate, I convinced her it was not a good question. She went back to her editor, and the editor said they really wanted an answer. And I don't remember what I said. I tried to look it up in the article, but I've never been interviewed for something like this before. But I think it's very unusual for the journalist to ask the person they interviewed, would you mind reading this to make sure I got it straight? Because she didn't want to sound stupid either. I didn't want to sound stupid by her answer. She didn't want to sound stupid. So I read it and it sounded okay. And then I said, you know, I understand why people want to know this, because somehow if the probability is small enough, we'll all feel better. She said, oh, can I add that? Okay, yes, sure. That I thought was the only thing I said that probably makes sense. Probability is small enough, somehow we'll all feel better. Just finishing up 2 honors communicates for students at Megan. I had this email out of the blue, just way too short ago. And Melanie, maybe he emailed you first and you said no. This is somebody I don't know. Emailed me and said, would you mind being on, would you be interested, would you be willing to be on honors thesis for 2 students? They need an outside person. And I said, well, he said 10, 12 pages. I can read that. And I said, sure, I'll do that. Very condensed time frame. I got them last Thursday. They wanted my responses today. And they're having the presentations Wednesday and Friday this week. That's not too bad, except it was on Bayesian statistics. Melody? I don't know Bayesian statistics. I know a little bit. So at any rate, I'm happy to do that kind of thing, but I wish it would have been a little bit. All right. So what do I do for professional activities? I write articles and I give presentations. I hate writing and I hate speaking in public, okay, just so you know. These are not my favorite things. And students, you might not like them either, but you're in the future. Whether you like it or not, if you think you're going to avoid it. So I talk about things that I care about, what I'm interested in. Service learning. I don't know if you've ever had a class where you did a project for an outside community organization. I really believe in service learning as an important tool to get students to really appreciate statistics, because you've got this community organization that's collected all this data, maybe on their programs and whatever. They're getting money from somewhere. Anytime somebody gives you money for something, they want to know, was that money well spent? They need to spend their time helping the community, right? And they probably don't have anybody in their office who knows how to do a data analysis, let alone take the time to do that. I love doing that. I think students leave Stat 180 with a good attitude about the value of statistics, why it's meaningful, and they can contribute. So they good feelings all around, right? Okay. I got invited. I've had 3 invited invitations to give a talk. And one of them was on service learning in statistics. It was in Slovenia. Everybody know where Slovenia is? I had to look it up. I'm geographically challenged. But yeah, I'd like to go there. And yeah, we don't. I joke with my friends. We don't usually say I gave a talk and there were 3 people there. I put on my activities report. I gave a talk in Slovenia, and I don't have to say there were 3 people there, but there were 3 people there. Okay. One of them was one of the other speakers. Actually, 2 other speakers. And the woman who organized it, I had written an article for the Journal of Statistics, Journal of Statistics Education. And she read it, and she invited me to go to Slovenia and talk about that. She realized she probably misnomer for the year. This was in the European community. They thought service learning was like a service course. Like Stat 180 is a service course. So that's her information. I'll buy that. Anyway, it was the first time and only time when I was giving a talk, and one of the other speakers referenced me. And I thought that was really cool. Like, yeah. Another really good thing that happened while I was there, I know some of you heard of Hans Rosling, who was Gapminder. Never mind. Really, it's a big name in infographics. But if you see Gapminder, just Google that, Hans Rosling. So I got to see him there. Introduction to math modeling and give talks about that. Suzanne will tell you more about that in a minute. I've given talks about digital intensive statistics. I really believe that it's important that we make sure our students are well prepared digital literacy. So I've added a digital intensive component to my Stat 180 to talk about that. Given talks and written papers about undergraduate research, how to get students involved in undergraduate research. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute. Part of mathematics and my infographics have sense that students talks about those. I like talking about stuff I care about. I will allow myself that. This gets better. Okay. Sort of. I have 2 chapters in MA publications. Mathematics and sort of community works. I guess was invited. Again, because I've given another talk and paper. And then this math 2010, I have a chapter in that as well. It's sort of related to statistics, but it's linking biology and other disciplines, including statistics. I think I've told everything I wanted to tell about those things. How am I doing for time? Because there's no clock back there.
4:32.
What else?
4:32.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And the person who took the clock didn't put it back up with the batteries. Should that person be in the room? We need that clock. It just disappeared. It came off the wall and was on this table for a long time, and then suddenly was gone. I do a lot of stuff, grant writing and reviewing and support for grants. We have had an NSF STEP grant, which was to increase students involved in STEM disciplines. And then I had a question a while ago. I don't remember what I did. I mean, some course development. The NSF Rice grant we applied for last summer, we didn't get it. I don't know if we're going to apply again. It's for helping develop teachers and STEM. Virginia Department of Education has done a lot of those, working with my colleagues in the College of Education, and really future teachers in the room, K through 12. Anybody, think about it? Okay, anybody planning to have kids who are going to be in the classroom sometime? Like they're going to have a brand new teacher? Okay, brand new teachers don't just go in the classroom and there you go. They have a mentor who help them with 1 or 2 years. Okay, and my job, besides I evaluated the grant, students' reactions, but my role was to teach the teachers about these are future mentors of new teachers, how to teach their mentees to work with data. I think it's overwhelming becoming a new teacher, any period, going to the classroom. For everybody else who taught K through 12, any of our colleagues, nobody had that experience, me neither. It's a lot. Okay, I mean, to go walk into whatever classroom you're responsible for. And oh, by the way, you have to keep all this data. And it's become more and more data oriented. The data science people, the business analytics, that got learning analytics, everybody's going into analytics, more and more data. And I think, my job was to help prepare the mentors to help your mentees with all that data they were going to have to deal with. I've been a reviewer for a number of these grants, NIH, Small Business Investment in Research, I think, U.S. Department of Education, I3 Investment in Innovation, and I don't know what the other, Noyce and Jeffress. My job generally is to take a look at their data collection and evaluation. I'm an evaluation reviewer as a statistician. I look at what they say they're going to do and how they're going to evaluate these, so what their research questions are, and I look to see, are you going to be able to answer those, address those research questions? That's what I do. I've done some data analysis for organizations, including Project Telescope, which is now part of the American Association of Colleges and Universities. So, and the Journal of Statistics and Education, which is now should be Statistics and Data Education. I was an associate editor for that for 6 years, and I've been a viewer since 2012. And I was also a counselor for the Council on Graduate Research, Mathematics and Computer Science, and I had 2 3-year terms to do that. So this is how my professional activities, what it looks like. Teaching. Okay, when I was hired here, I looked at the job ad. I wish I could have a copy of it, because they said they wanted somebody to come lower and upper level statistics and numerical analysis. You know, they have that thing when somebody says something in the background, that sound from the record. Imagine that. That's what that's the sound effect I would have heard. And numerical analysis. Well, okay, I had an undergraduate course in numerical analysis. I could program, and I had a graduate course in numerical analysis. I can do that. And I'm like, what's wrong with these people? They don't have somebody here that can teach them out. It turns out they did have somebody who teach numerical analysis. That person just didn't want to. Okay. All right. So I'm going to be teaching 3 sections. One's called Math 200, Stat 180, and occasionally upper levels 381. I can teach 2 sections of something and not go bonkers. 3. I like the 3rd time around, I've gone through this. I don't know how many times already. In the 3rd section, I think they got shortchanged, but I had to start teaching other stuff. I mean, it just otherwise go crazy. So one of the grants we had was called VSEP, Virginia Collaborative for Excellence in Presentation for Teachers. And Suzanne and I, Dr. Sumner, created Math 150. She did the difference equation stuff, the mathy stuff, and I did the regression stuff. It was a really nice fit. Math 205, I talked about that. Stat 180 is the statistical methods course. And both Melody and I teach that. Okay. And then created for 461, which is now Math 220, that's regression analysis. Okay. Then my first freshman seminar out of mathematics, 2009. Biology 270, I thought maybe that might have been a surprise there. We all saw that. She thought that's the biology course, but I didn't. That started by working with Kathy Casey during the Summer Science Institute. We have students who know what Summer Science Institute is. If you don't, you need to find out. It's a really good program. And I would go to the talks, and one of the things I have resolved that I'm not going to do the statistics course. I'm not going to go to people and say, you know, and I walked up with these posters and they see this graph is clearly curved. If somebody fit a line to it, then there's my R squared. And I'm going, but I kept my mouth shut. But we decided that, you know, we have little workshops for students during the Summer Science Institute. They were going to give us pizza and we become one of our statistics. And we did that for a couple of years. Then it became a special topics course in the biology department, and now it is a required course, which I don't teach it. Let's see. Another freshman seminar, infographics, 2011. And then 461, which is 420, is multivariate. Okay. And then the numbers rules, and then finally this picture. Notice this one doesn't say, of course, yeah. Okay. Independent studies, this is a very partial list. A lot of times I teach a course that students didn't take or wasn't able to take what was being offered, so like Stat 281. But some of these are ones where students said, I want to teach AP statistics in high school, for high school. And that's why I created a course for them, or the statistics for educators. So some of these are ones that I, could do, or sometimes a student came to me and said, I don't really want to know about this. Okay, I can figure that out. So we found a book and did some analyses. I know that. The student asked me about this, and she said, I got a book. So this was truly the independent study. She came and she taught me about the material. And part of mathematics and sabermetrics, maybe sabermetrics fans. Yeah. It's like amongst the students. No, I don't want to teach that. I just put that on there to show you a variety. Not my thing. Okay. Undergraduate research, this is a partial list of things. I just try to give you a variety of some of the things that I've done. Some for Summer Science Institute. I went to my website because I was trying to remember what did I do. There was 20 things there and it's not up to date. Okay, I've done a lot of undergraduate research. You didn't realize that. Some of it came from something that Stephen and I did with Baldwin. I really wish we could have kept that up. The researchers there created projects, and one of us would mention the project here. And sometimes it's an idea that I have come up with, or sometimes a question somebody asks me. I'll just tell you about the first one up there. An administrator, who's not here anymore, came to me and said, I want to know what's the probability if you've got two lists, a list that's got 20 items on it, and you've got 3 of these lists. What's the probability that you got the same item in the top 10? I'm like going, I don't know. That sounds like a research question. First, I had the students do simulations, and then we derived the distribution. And I never did find out what that data was. But it really bothers me when somebody won't tell me the backstory. It's just like that. It really helped me understand it a whole lot better. Let's see. This one came from other administrators, not anymore. Got some complaints from the women faculty saying it's not enough women faculty, and so we wanted something to look at all the ones that we had and try to do some kind of modeling on that. And anyway, this was one of the ones that came from Hydorn. I've heard of a interpoint distant matrix before that. This came because a lot of times faculty serve on committees where you have to rate people, and there are multiple ratings by multiple people, and there's like you got 2 raters and single rating. There's analysis methods for that. There weren't any real methods that are really good for when you got multiple raters and multiple items. So that's what we worked on, modifying. Anyway, so just kind of give you an idea. If you want to know more, you can see more of them on my website. Let's see. Oh, change things up a little bit. You want to know a little bit more about me? That art and mathematics class just kind of, I loved teaching it. It kind of took over. I guess the different thing, I'm a creative person. This was the place where I could be creative and involve my mathematics stuff. So notice I have 5. I didn't realize I had 5 entries in the joint mathematics. Oh, you have to submit. They don't accept everybody's, but I've had 5 entries. These are the 5 entries. Kind of notice the impression you didn't want to do color much. So I want the top. I can tell you more about them. I was going around experimenting a little bit of color. But one of the things that I was afraid to submit something to the art of mathematics competition. And it was my colleagues over in the art department who really, and Susie, provided me with a lot of encouragement. And one time I was there, somebody was talking about me. She said, oh yeah, one of the other artists said, oh yeah, she's one of us. I'm like, oh, yeah. So, I wrote a puzzle. And turned out it's not original, but it was, I was teaching discrete and discrete math and my art and mathematics class at the same time, trying to come up with ideas. And I said, I wonder if it would be possible if you took a square and marked colored one or more corners, could you put them together so that the sides matched? And yeah, we can. Okay, and I spent quite a bit of time studying that and looking at the types of responses. And Dr. H, I think I talked to you about this. This is not toral. This is cylinder because notice you can go side to side. So this won't tell the plane as is, but then I learned about the toral one, what is it, top and bottom. I found a total of 154 solutions to this puzzle. Okay, and I had given talks about it and the classification of the solutions, and really wanted to study this more, but it's not statistics, it's math. I was not able to continue for a variety of reasons. But anyway, I really love playing this puzzle. It's a corner matching puzzle. They have side matching puzzles, and I learned all about this about Lang tiles and how they're used to create realistic backgrounds in the computer games and such. And so, interesting exploration for me. Yeah, I haven't looked at this in a while. Then during COVID, I needed something. I needed to do something creative. I needed a diversion. So I created a new puzzle where it's a combination corner side, 16 tiles. Don't get too excited if somebody already invented this. Like, yeah. But it's just a subset. But I had the same question. Can you put this into a 4x4 array? But see, the one I like about this is that you can make up your own rules about how you want to connect. Okay, it doesn't have to. So anyway, so then I created this. I love it. I think it's good. It's not quite done. I don't like so many squares. But what I did was when I put together, I made a rule for myself about which things I was going to color. There's 8 different colors across the road, column. And anyway, I just created different rules. So it was a much simpler puzzle, and it helped me with COVID. It made something else to think about. Then last summer, before that summer, the math group put out a call. The math art group put out a call to people who did math art and said, if there's anything that you did during COVID with math art that helped you to cope, please share it with us. So I talked about this and one other thing that helped me cope. I created stuff for other people before, but I sent an email to Pat D. No, this was to Marie Shekels. And I said, a retirement math survey. Tell me your 3 favorite geometric shapes and your 3 favorite colors. And she's like, well, okay, but she didn't know what it was. And so the first one I looked at was from a lady. I think one of her shapes I couldn't do, and one of her favorite colors was blue. And it was like, I'm just looking at the rose. So I put my favorite color in there. It was the green stripes, my favorite color. Then I thought, after I did that, well, I should do one for Kathleen. She retired. So I sent her the same post-retirement survey. And anyway, that's what I did for her. Suzanne was my judge on all of them. So I made one for Suzanne. But it's not a geometric shape, okay?
Yeah, I got frustrated.
Yes. I had to figure out how to make, I think this is the square root of 35. So I did talk about that. And there were a lot of people who really liked this thing. That was, they said they would like that hanging in their office. I'm like, well, that's not. Okay. So current projects, I got some current projects. One of the top committee of pay equity study, this was something I met recently. Leslie Martin invited me, another faculty to go. Community foundations, they want to do an equity study. And it was just, they're just beginning, and one of the things I said they needed a data geek. I realized we called that. They had your data geek. But I think I talked to them about it. I said, you need to have your research questions very specific. You need to decide what you're going to collect. And then you need to decide how you're going to analyze it, so that ways that will answer your research question. Otherwise, you're going to end up with data that are meaningless. And you can answer some questions, but not the questions you like. Anybody going on in statistics says, this happened to you, Melody? Where somebody said, here's my data, this is what I want to know. And you go, I'm sorry. This data was not collected to answer that question. Okay. So okay, if I don't do anything else with them, at least I hope I did some good. Things like that. But I'm hoping that will come about. Tyler Franklin over in environmental science. You can tell the data. It's also got a little project and we'll put it on. But this is a graph I need for him looking at snail embryos, and we'll look at the impact of the ICER on snail embryos. I don't know much about that. But some of this data, the way he sounded and explained it, sounded like it would be good for ANOVA. It's not, because it's count data. And besides the fact that your counts, the groups are not the same size. So it's got some extra confusion. I did make this for him, for closer to doing that. He might be able to count now. But you can see this is the zero. And if you read up, this is it's getting worse and worse for the higher the concentration. It's like the Urban Association there. I figured out what the right model is. And then this one here, we're looking at the blue line. Okay. This is the actual digital elevation. This is the digital elevation model. We look at the ones in the blue, they're off. They've got two corrections that they tried. So that you can see this is like he was a little bit better than the yellow one, a little bit better than the gray one. But they've got another method that they want to try, and I'm going to help them with that. For the right student, any of these projects could be an undergraduate research project, or at least you could contribute to the project. Okay. So what's next? I'm not one of those people who usually takes a quote of something and says this is something that I want to share. I don't have one of those things on my email. But this quote, what you manifest is before you, means a lot to me. It's from a book. It's called The Art of Racing in the Rain. Person in the book goes through a lot of hardships, but ultimately succeeds. I highly recommend that book. And to me, what that means is you make your own future. You believe in something, if you believe in yourself, you can make it happen. Okay. So what I like to see, two activities. Capstone Statistics Data Science Project course. I think we need to combine with the data science program to make that happen. Special major statistics, and interested when you said that earlier, you do have somebody interested. Statistics Advisory Board, how can we better serve the needs of the departments? There are courses that we could create, like you guys might in economics, you might like to have time series books. I mean, you might do a little bit of time series, but would it, and it's okay if the answer is no. But you know, an actual ARIMA time series forecasting stuff might be something could be of interest. And biology, etc. They might want something. Could we just rename the department, please? Maybe I mean, psychological sciences did that, biological sciences did that. I think we could do that too. More interesting. I want to write some articles. Hopefully, we're not doing anymore. Because if you look at the infographics books, did I mention I hate writing? But they're not geared towards you all, okay? They're geared towards business professionals, craft geeks, right? There's tons of them out there. They're really cool. Journalists. There's for the graphic designers, there's infographic books, but there's not one that's for an audience that's just coming into college or even in high school. But I think I've been teaching that course enough. I've got an idea of what the right focus would be. So now that I put out that in public, maybe I got to do it. But I think I've got an idea of how I want to structure it. But anyway, so like I said, I'm not going anywhere. Like I said I probably said this to you, Randall. I know I said it to Keith, and I think I said it to Julius. As long as I'm having fun, I'm not going anywhere. This is fun. But my husband's back there going, he's retired, okay? And when she just hurry up and retire. So I have one more slide, and then you can all go. I appreciate your attention. I got a lot of things waiting for me when I retire. Upper left court, that's my two children. And they live in Illinois, okay? And that's my daughter and her handsome husband. Pardon? Leanna's fault, yeah. That's not her fault they went to Chicago. Here we go. And my son and his wife, they live there too, okay? So there's the RV there. Somebody wanted an RV. I call it the Beast because I don't drive it. We went through a toll booth and I knocked off the right ear. For some reason, he still wants me to drive it. I'm not going to do nuts. I mean, you just go ahead. I'll go ahead and try it. I'll knock off the one on the other side. And then, I will do that. There's me last summer. Yeah, that's me. Okay. I caught a really big fish. It's not that big, but it was really fun. It was my first really big fish. Was that the lake trout or the?
You call it the lake trout.
Yeah, lake trout, lake spear. It was really fun. Okay. In case you wanted to see what she looks like, that's my twin sister. And that's her dog. But her daughter just had a baby. And you'll see that baby. This is just a pretty sunset that I took somewhere at Village Space. Okay. No, this is not the sunset of my life. I know where you're going. No, that's not a good thing. With my husband with a heat cat. I think one of the reasons we have the RV is so we bring the cat with us. And then he's got this little, but she's getting used to it. Does she look happy?
Yeah.
No. Besides Illinois, I'm Michigan, and Ohio, we could see when we go to Illinois. My sister is my husband's sister. Illinois and Ohio have nice pictures of these. Anyway, this is the thing that's drawing me away. Okay, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but so I still have a bunch of stuff to do. Right? I know. Thank you.
Okay, questions?
Oh, they will? Okay.
There's something in the chat.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, we may want to check the chat and see if there's a question.
Oh, I don't have a slide chat.
While we do that, any in the room with questions, Dr. H?
What was it like having little kids in graduate school?
It was fine.
Really?
Yeah, because
That's
I
impressive.
went in the evenings. You notice that the master's degree was in the evenings. It's like 4 or 5 years. So he went to work, and I went to grad school in the evening. Yeah, it was really fun sitting in those desks, with everything. 9 months pregnant. Give everybody a good laugh. Yeah, no, and then when we went to Ann Arbor, they were preschool, elementary grade, so it wasn't so bad. So, but I
My
was,
kids driving nuts.
I was,
That's good.
I was a stay-at-home mom without needing it. Anybody, anything else?
Questions?
Like Andy was saying, we should have talked about some of the projects that we worked on with our, that's what was in the chat.
Oh, lots of, yeah, I've done a lot of practice for her, that's just the newest thing. I've gone to her office, my sister works at the same time for her water management system. I've gone there a number of times and given workshops on infographics and how to, the best way to present data for your intended audience. Anybody want to be a statistician? Anybody? No, it's great. It really is. I like math, but I like, I guess what you can do with statistics. And every project is totally different. You've got to find the right perspective to look at it. Maybe I can model this one. Right. Well, thank you for listening.